Summer Slam was last night, and Saturday. The first ever 2-night Summer Slam. Uh, Originally, I was not going to give a review on Summer Slam yet, but I'm still getting new to this review thing, and why not start with this one? And apologies for my hair. Haven't got it done yet, so you might see me with a bush for a little while. So let's get into SummerSlam Night 1. I'm going to begin with a grade for Night 1 and Night 2. Night 1 for me was, if I had to give it a grade right now, I would say it's definitely got a C. And I would say if I had to give it a number grade, I would say 6 out of 10. And if you're hearing noises in the background, it's my dog. Hershey, what are you doing, girl? Sorry about that. Yeah, Night 1 was very lackluster in terms of what I think people were looking for, and me as a fan myself, what I was looking for. So I will go into each match, and then I will break down what I liked and what I disliked and why I felt Night 1 was lackluster. And then I'll jump to Night 2, give it a grade, give it the number grade, and keep going. So Night 1, Cardi B was our host. WWE finally got her to host. I think they were trying to get her the host 2 years ago, I want to say, with the Up and Stuck song. They wanted her to do that, but I think she was pregnant. But she did her thing. She came out. She did, introduced everybody to SummerSlam. Was great. Unfortunately, she wasn't there for Night 2, but she was probably booked and busy. It happens. And if she was there, I must have missed it. So there's that. So, anywho, match 1. We did start off with a banger on Night 1. I will give this a solid 8 out of 10. It was Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and Braun versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, with Paul Heyman with them. Now, I thought this match was quite solid. In terms of the Bloodline storyline, which is still clearly a part of, I think as far as growth for Roman's character, which is what it was meant to be, in my opinion, we're seeing Roman back in the gauges of he's willing to sacrifice himself for his family. Like, there was numerous of times he had pushed Jey out the way, and he'll take the hit, like big hits, so Jey can basically capitalize and do other things. Like, so they were really in good tandem. We'll see where they go from here. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, they're the future of the company. We're going to see where they go. I do think Braun Breaker, will have a bigger future than Bronson Reed, but I do think Bronson Reed is going to 100% be a future world champion. There is no ifs, ands about that. I think Braun Breaker will hold more titles than he will. Overall, this match was solid. I didn't predict Roman Reigns or Jey to lose at all. I do personally hope we're kind of done with it, but I doubt it now, given to how Night 1 ends, and I'll get there when I get to that match. But overall, good, solid match. It was very back and forth. It got chaotic. Went outside the ring, was in the ring. Like, they fought. They went through barricades. They fought. I think Braun Breaker got a little banged up, so I hope he's okay. We'll find out later on tonight if he's cool. But thoroughly enjoyed the match. I believe it went on for like 21 minutes, so pretty solid match through and through. Match 2. I also didn't hate match 2. Match 2 was quite solid. It was Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus Judgment Day's Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. I'm the first to say this. I miss Liv Morgan. Nothing against Roxanne Perez. I really miss Liv Morgan. I'm sad she got hurt. But I do think had Liv Morgan been healthy, we would have probably had a different match than this one. So we'll see. Well, not we'll see, but we know what happens. So the whole best wishes for her in her recovery. But yeah, no, I think Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss to me has actually been a very quite interesting team. I don't get a chance to watch a lot of SmackDown because I am not home, so I always get the highlights on Friday nights. If anybody remembers when SmackDown used to be on Thursdays, and let me know if y'all missed that Thursday night SmackDown. I really do miss Thursday night SmackDown because then I was able to actually watch it and not see highlights. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of Alexa Bliss. I've always been a fan. I miss when the 5 Feet of Fury character, the goddess. I was honestly surprised they put her in a tag team with Charlotte because I really, really thought they was going to put her with the YS6 very sooner than they did. But if I think honestly, her being Alexa Bliss being with Charlotte Flair helps Charlotte Flair a lot more. It's like, because I'll say this, Charlotte Flair is an amazing, amazing competitor. I do think, however, WWE gives her a lot of shots. And here's the thing: some of those shots, a good portion, majority of those shots, are well deserved because she is one of the best in the business. It's just, for example, this past Royal Rumble we had, I would not have had Charlotte win. I get she's coming back. I get she came back. I would have had her been one of the last ones to in the Rumble, and she would have got eliminated last. I would have did that, but I also equally would not have had Roxanne Perez win it either. I would have had a whole different lineup of women in that Royal Rumble there. But let me rephrase that. I would have still had Roxanne Perez because she showed out. Please don't take this as inability on Roxanne Perez because Roxanne Perez has been showing off and she has been awesome at it. She is phenomenal. Her NXT run, phenomenal. And seeing what Roxanne Perez was able to not only do in the Royal Rumble but in the Elimination Chamber has been masterclass, actually. So please don't take this as I'm saying she's horrible. She's not. It's just, I think certain other people should have probably made it throughout the Rumble and probably main evented Mania. For certain titles, I'll put it that way too. But anyway, I think given to the reception Charlotte got on her return for Mania, because nobody wanted her for one to win the Rumble, and then nobody really wanted her to win at Mania because it was just like, oh god, you're giving her another title, or another world title at that. So I thought it was cool, the fact that not only did she put Tiffany over, and we already know the chaos with that. I'm not gonna get into the chaos between her and Tiffany back behind the scenes before Mania. I'm quite sure that got squashed. If it hasn't, hopefully it gets squashed soon. But I felt like everybody needed to get Charlotte back on a good wavelength with the fans as a face, because I believe when she was returning, she was supposed to be a face anyway. But when she won the Rumble, that just went out the window. So her being with Alexa, I think Alexa brings this brighter side of Charlotte out, and it really makes you want to cheer again for Charlotte. So I really appreciated their tag team, and I'm happy they did win. Now I don't know if they're going to do a Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria tonight, and Judgment Day gets it back. Who knows? But I would like to see Charlotte and Alexa kind of run the gauntlet on that. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Charlotte and Alexa won. They won the tag titles last night, and that match went on for like 13 minutes. Pretty solid. Now, going to my first match that I was a little disappointed with the winner. Not even a little. I was a lot disappointed. Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. I honestly don't feel like Karrion should have lost that match. I feel like Karrion Kross, WWE needs to stop jobbing out Karrion Kross to everything. It's like, of course, when you're a WWE fan, I'm going to say this about Karrion Kross real fast. When you're a WWE fan, you already know who you love and who you like. Karrion in NXT, I grew to like him, but I was hating him because like, you're beating all my favorite people. Like, you beat Keith Lee, you beat Finn Balor. I'm like, come on, man, stop beating my people. But when he moved to the main roster, how they handled him the first time was very atrocious, given to the how good he was on NXT. And literally they had to bring somebody back to beat him. Like, they brought Samoa Joe back to beat him. So them doing that and him on the main roster and him on the main roster now under Triple H's regime, it's been better than what Vince did, but it's still like they're not giving Karrion anything. It's like he had his group and I really don't feel like his group did anything. So it was just like they're honestly turning Karrion Kross into like the Fiend type character. If anybody remembers, whoever the Fiend kind of got to, that person went heel. Like they went heel for a bit. Like Seth went heel, Finn went heel. So it's just like, and that's just some examples. John Cena went heel. It took a while, but he went heel. It's like whoever the Fiend went after, they went heel after a while. It was almost like the Fiend was bringing it out, and Karrion Kross is doing the same thing. But it's I get it. Sami Zayn is the underdog, but ultimately, this did more, in my opinion, to hurt Karrion Kross than help him. So I really think Karrion Kross should have won that match last night. So I didn't like that match as much. It went on for like 8 minutes, and one that wasn't given to what the caliber of what both these superstars can do. And I get it, they're under time restraints, but I think they should have gotten more. So that's just me. Next match, Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. That match for me could have gone either way. I like both competitors. I would have been happy with either winner. I am happy that they're still continuing to build Tiffany Stratton. The fact that she beat Jade clean, and Tiffany Stratton is doing her damn thing, y'all. If y'all didn't follow her NXT run, it was amazing. And this is just me, but one of my favorite matches that Tiffany did in NXT was her feud with Becky. I thought that Tiffany can go, y'all. And she had other great matches before that one, but she can go, y'all. And I appreciate they are building Tiffany. Like Jade still, I know Jade is. Some people talk about Jade, how Jade botches a lot. Jade did great in this match. I have no complaints with Jade's performance in this match. I hardly really ever have complaints with Jade's matches. Like, I've seen some mistakes she's made, but she's improved every time she's been in the ring. So, yeah, I really think Jade will be a future world champion. I don't think they're going to do what AEW did with her and just give her, like, the secondary title and be like, you know, and just that be the end of it. No, I really think Jade will get a title. I honestly think what we're going to end up getting is Bianca will take the title off of Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton will go on to be heel. Then Jade and Bianca will feud, and I think Jade will turn heel and beat Bianca. So I think that's where we go here from there. But I thought the match was quite solid. I do think there was like one botch. I don't know if this was scripted or a botch when Jade did her finisher. She was too close to the ropes. And she just how she slid back looked weird on Tiffany's head. But I mean, it looked a little weird, but I don't know if that was supposed to happen because Tiffany was clearly supposed to grab the rope, or her foot was supposed to be on the rope. So it looks like that was supposed to happen, but I'm not 100% sure. But all in all, I enjoyed the match. It did what it did. Again, also, I am very pro for the women to get longer matches, dude. So 7 minutes was good. I would have been okay if had that been for like 14, 15 minutes. And you just let them go. It's just like, they can go. Majority of the time, the women do better than the men. I'm just going to be solid with y'all. Majority of the time, the women do better than the men. So allow the women to go. So you're going to hear me say this a lot about the women's matches. Allow them to perform, you know? Just allow it. But they did they did very, very solid. I'll give it an okay grade for that match. So I'm going to go on to the next one, which would be Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul versus Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. I didn't know what to expect out of this match. I'll say this first and foremost. I am honestly really not a fan of when we have musicians in the ring, or not even musicians, just celebrities as a whole. It's like, sometimes it's really, really good, and sometimes it's just like, because it's like entertaining, which is what it's supposed to be, and sometimes it's just like, why? I didn't hate this match. I thought this match was quite solid. Jelly Roll took some bumps, y'all. I honestly, at one point, thought he was going to move from Logan Paul's frog splash. And when he didn't, I'm like, is he okay? Is he okay? Is he okay? This was one match that I do think could have gone shorter. I did not expect Randy or Jelly Roll to win at all. even though normally 9 times out of 10 of the celebrities in the match, the celebrity wins. But Jelly Roll looks like he was very, very into like do what's best for the business. I'm not a Logan Paul fan. I'm a Drew McIntyre fan. But I will not take away from Logan Paul's athleticism. That man can go, and he showed off. He did very good in this match. Like Logan Paul, he has some solid matches. I do think they give Logan Paul a bit too much when it comes to certain title matches. I'm like, why are you getting this in your like? I'm sorry, I'm ranting, but yes. All in all, this match was quite solid. It's like it's a passing grade for like a tag match. Now, again, I do think it could have been like maybe 4 minutes shorter than what it was, but yeah. Last match of the night, CM Punk versus Gunther. That went on for 30 minutes. That, hands down, was one of the best matches of the night. Gunther dominated Punk majority of that match. And wow. And the way they had Punk still persevere and still find a way to win was great. I do feel like this was meant for Gunther so he could take a break away for a little while, because I think he was injured, actually, like his nose was fractured or something. So yeah, it was a pretty solid match. Now, if I was ranking the matches, I'm sorry, there was one more match before I get to ranking the matches. Last match of the night. And I know I'm not really getting into the CM Punk Gunther thing, because the CM Punk Gunther thing was a solid foundation match for SummerSlam. It was 30 minutes long. They fought. CM Punk gave what he could. Gunther did what he did. And I'll say this for Gunther. I never once felt in this match that CM Punk was the underdog whatsoever. But I need Gunther to stop losing to underdogs. I need them to... If we're building Gunther to be this dominant force that he is, and there's like 80% of the time he's held a title, then let this man be a dominant force. Like, it's almost like, I get it, they wanted Sami Zayn to beat him for the Intercontinental title. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, I almost feel like I'm sorry. I felt like Sammy should have won his match, because that was the first time. Jay, however, and I know I'm going way, way back. Jay for Mania, I'm iffy on that one. I felt like because Gunther lost to an underdog twice, and again, this could be building towards the fact that Gunther is going, when he comes back again, him telling himself, all right, I have to be more vicious. I have to be more, more cerebral. I have to literally keep my foot on their throats and not let up, because he's lost to two underdogs and then he lost to Punk. So this could be gearing up for a better Gunther when he gets back, but that's pretty much it. Gunther, I honestly felt like CM Punk was going to win this match. Now the last match, like I was alluding to, Seth Rollins cashed in, y'all. I'm not going to lie. I thought that man was legitimately injured, because I watched that Saturday main event, and the way how it looked like his leg landed, I thought he tore his ACL again. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. But it was like, we knew he would not have to give up the briefcase due to the fact he gets a whole year. So the fact that when that man came out, I thought it was like going to be like one of those situations of, you won the title, congratulations. I just know I have this, and when I'm healthy, I'm coming for your ass. That's what I thought it was going to be. We all got played. Becky Lynch was sending out like things of, Seth and their daughter, he walking while he was on the crutches. They were all talking about how he even did interviews where he's like, I'm injured. And granted, don't get me wrong, we've seen them do works like that before. Cody does it all the time. And other wrestlers do it all the time. But yeah, I was like, Seth's injured. And I knew, like, I'm in a wrestling group and a lot of people throw like, what if Braun comes out there and just cashes in? And I was like, no, it doesn't work that way. Because in order for that to happen, we would have had to have seen an interaction of literally Seth saying, "Hey, I'm bequeathing this to Braun Breaker," and we never got that. So when the moment Seth dropped the crutches, unhooked the brace on his leg, I'm sitting here looking at CM Punk. Get out the ring. Get out the ring. Get out the ring. Get out the ring. Why aren't you leaving the ring? Why don't they ever leave the ring, y'all? And my man let Seth run to the ring. And you just knew then, it was like, well, Punk lost his title. So I don't know how long they're going to have this feud go on between Punk and Seth. Most likely it will be at Mania. Now, how long? I don't know how long they're equally going to have Seth hold that title either. Because it's like, let's see, this next Mania is not going to be until April again, or in August. I don't think Seth will hold it that long. But that's just me. They also got rid of those, but with Seth having Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, he very much could hold these things till Mania, and that just be what it is. But yeah, I'm not sure what. I'm not really sure how Seth will hold on. They were going to go with this feud. But yeah. Now, anywho, getting back to why I grade Night 1 is lackluster. The first issue that I'm having with Night 1 was it felt very safe. And when I talk about Night 2, you'll understand why I think Night 1 was safe. Like, all your basic matches was Night 1. And normally, that's not the case. Normally, they sprinkle, But Night 2, it was nothing but chaos. Nothing but chaos. So it was like, what are we building to here? Because I promise you, there was people I almost feel like people were looking forward to most was Roman Reigns match, and everybody was looking forward to the CM Punk Gunther match. And everything else felt like it could have fell either on a regular pay-per-view, or hell, it could have been just a Raw. It could have been on Raw or SmackDown. For example, the Jelly Roll Randy Orton match, that didn't need to be SummerSlam. That could have been Clash at Paris or something. Well, no, they use that as a big event. But you get what I'm getting at. It could have been like a basic pay-per-view. So yeah. Those are my thoughts on that. And before I get into Night 2, I'm going to harp on this as well. For certain people who should have been on the card that were not on the card, like SummerSlam Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, Mania, the Big Four. In my humble opinion, and this is just mine, every single title should be defended, because these are your Big Four. So the fact that Julia, and given to how good Julia is, it's almost to me criminal that the Women's United States title wasn't on there. So that was very disappointing that title was not defended. And that we didn't get that Julia did not get a chance to perform in front and at SummerSlam, because I felt like her and Stephanie Valkyrie have done phenomenal in their year in NXT, and Roxanne is on the main roster doing her thing. Why can't they I understand, they could have easily given Stephanie Valkyrie a match against Chelsea Green, and we're giving them and don't get me wrong, I'm all for the women getting longer matches. You could have just had a squash match, where not a squash match, but a match where we got to see Chelsea Green and Stephanie Valkyrie squash have their final match, where it's okay, let Stephanie Valkyrie move on to what's next, But instead we kept them off the card, and I don't understand why we kept them off the card. The Raw tag titles were not defended on SummerSlam, and I'm like, so we're doing this again with the Judgment Day? We're doing. I get they just defended their titles, but I'm like, Why didn't we just move that to SummerSlam? It makes more sense. That's just me. Um, y'all let me know what y'all think when this gets uploaded, when you get a chance to see it. Um, let's get to night two. Night two, I thought was very, very good. I do think this was a way better. Sunday was a way better night than night one, which was Saturday. I mean, Sunday was a way better night than Saturday's SummerSlam. Um, we started off big. So the first match we did was Naomi versus Rhea versus Io. That went on for like 16 minutes. Solid triple threat match. It was very, to what a triple threat's supposed to be, very basic. Now, I'm gonna say this. I am, for one, glad Naomi won. Sadly, I do think Naomi is a transitional champion, unfortunately, and I think it's meant for her to drop that title to Stephanie Valkyrie so we can start getting the feud of Stephanie Valkyrie and Rhea Ripley. Now, that being said, also, I am tired, and this is just me. I am tired of Rhea and Io in the main title scene. It's not giving like what Charlotte is getting. It's just like Rhea is phenomenal, y'all. Rhea is phenomenal. So is Io. They're phenomenal. But it's just like it's almost like every week we're in the same situation with them. It's like they don't want to just put them in feuds to be putting them in feuds. It's like no. Well, if they're there, they got to be feuding for a title. It is the Charlotte thing. I'm sorry, it is the Charlotte thing. It's like, but it's not as much. They don't get nowhere near what Charlotte got. But it's like every time I sit there and turn around, it's just like, why are Rhea and Io both still in the story for this title? Why can't they go for like the Intercontinental title or the U.S. title? Well, I know the U.S. title's on SmackDown, but it's, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, why aren't we doing this? Like, why isn't Ivy Nile getting a push for, the world title or something of that nature? And I'm just throwing out names, y'all. So it's just like, why? What are we doing? It's like, I feel like the last, and I know y'all will correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like the last 3 pay-per-views, it was just like Rhea Io main title scene. So I'm getting a little bit over that. I'm ready to see like different people in that situation. Because Naomi picked up the win by, after Rio gave like an avalanche riptide to Io off the top rope. Naomi waited her time, caught Rhea slipping, and she pinned her. I do think this is gearing us up towards a more dangerous Rhea Ripley, who will do whatever it takes now and be more visceral. Now, I think at Clash in Paris, I do think Naomi drops that title to Stephanie Valkyrie, and I do think we go into a feud of... I do think we're going to start leading into a feud of Rhea Ripley versus Stephanie Valkyrie, but I think first what will happen will be Io Sky versus Stephanie Valkyrie, so we can finally get who wins that match. And I do think WWE will push Stephanie Valkyrie to the moon. The girl is phenomenal. And she also bad. I'm going to put that out there too. My wife will kill me, but hey, y'all. But anywho. But no, Stephanie, all jokes aside, Stephanie Valkyrie, y'all, the girl's phenomenal. The girl is phenomenal. She's done great. I've loved all her matches so far, and she's been 10 out of 10. So I do think we are gearing up to this big Stephanie Valkyrie, Rhea Ripley feud. But I think we're going to see, once that title transitions back to somebody, I feel like WWE feels like they're going to put like a rocket on and just shoot them to the moon. I think we're going to see a lot of feuds with Stephanie Valkyrie with that title. But until then, I'm super happy Naomi won this match, though, because had she had lost, it would have been typical transitional champion. She only got it because of the Money in the Bank, so the fact she was easily able to defend was great. Next match, TLC. You know, it's funny. It's a total side note. I could not remember the last time we had a TLC match. And I was like, when was the last freaking time we had a TLC match? And no, I'm not doing the research or anything. It was just me racking my brain. Like, I don't remember us having a TLC match in like the longest time. So the fact that we got the YS6, Andrade Ray Phoenix, DIY, Fraxium, Motor City Machine Guns, the Street Profits, all in one match, just going at it for 16 minutes, and TLC was great. The Dudley Boys and the Hardy Boys were also there in the crowd. For those wondering, Edge and Christian, no, we're not there. They are AEW bound, so we're not bound. They are AEW. We might see them do TLC matches in AEW, but nah, I didn't foresee WWE, reaching out to them. But y'all, this match was solid. It's contender for best match of the night. It was one point in this time I was thoroughly concerned for certain people, especially Candice LeRae. My God, I thought that woman was going to go through a table. No, she went through a ladder, y'all. She went through a ladder. And the face of Montez Ford and Johnny Gargano when they're like, is she okay? It was just like, at one point in time, I was like, was that scripted? Was that supposed to happen? Like, is she okay? But seeing all the mayhem in that match was phenomenal. I already knew the Wyatt Six were going to walk out. They had the numbers game. The Wyatt Six was just going to walk out with those titles. They walked in with them, and they walked out with them. But the other two who I would not have mind seeing, I'm a big DIY fan. I like DIY. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa as single competitors was what drew me in, and I went back and had to rewatch their matches as DIY. I know I'm late at this, and I've loved every last one of them. I'm like, yo, they are phenomenal. But I do hope Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa get a bigger push in the future, even as single competitors, because I feel like given to the landscape of like the main roster, they've kind of just treated them as lesser than. So I want WWE to really push them as the dangerous people they were in NXT in the main roster. Like, I need them being pushed the way LA Knight is being pushed. Because they were that big in NXT. So allow them to be that big in the main roster. Hell, when Johnny Gargano came back, the stadium went wow. So I feel like they need to give them that energy again. The Street Profits. That was the other group I really, really wanted to see win this. If it was not YS6 or DIY, and they're just good. I am ready to see Montez Ford get a single push. I'm not gonna lie on that one. But I will say this: no disrespect to those who love this frog splash move. I am not a fan. Everybody uses it like they use a spear. I'm biased. I'm a bigger fan of the spear, but when Montez Ford becomes a single competitor, please give him something else instead of the frog splash. Like, let the frog splash still be in his arsenal, of course, but let him get something else that's not the frog splash. But y'all, the match was phenomenal. Next match, Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria. That went on for 25 minutes. Now, I'm a big Becky Lynch fan. And Lyra Valkyria is also growing on me. Now, I know some people in my wrestling group had problems with this match. It was like, it was nothing but botching. I'm going to be real with y'all. I was so into it because Becky Lynch and Lyra have put on bangers. I was so into it. I didn't notice the botches until I went back and rewatched. Like, I didn't know the zip tie had come off. I was like, I was that into it. So there were a lot of botches. But it still doesn't take away from the match. I am glad that Becky retained. I do think the Intercontinental title needs to be away from Lyra for right now because she was the first Intercontinental champion. She's now synonymous with it. So she's proven she can go. Start pushing her towards other things now. And I know we're about to go into this Becky Lynch-Bayley feud, and Bayley will get the Intercontinental title. And I'm going to say this towards Bayley right now. I need them to give Bayley better pushes than what they do. Because out of the 4 horsewomen, oddly enough, my order is, it is Becky, Sasha, Bayley, then Charlotte. But All four of them are absolutely phenomenal and deserve their flowers in the all their flowers in the world. All four of them. So I do hope Bailey gets better pushes in the future because I get it. We wanted to build Becky back to get Mania to bring her back, and so we took Bailey out. I don't think that was the smartest plan personally. I honestly think they probably should have just had Becky come out after, Bailey and Lyra probably won the tag titles, and Becky came out and screwed over them the following night or something. But I know they wanted to give this big surprise, hey, Becky's back thing. But it's funny because this entire feud between Becky and Bailey, Becky's actually in the right. The same way Liv Morgan was in the right with Rhea. It was just like, no, Rhea, you shattered this girl's arm. So if she beats your ass, she beats your ass. And whatever she does to you, she does to you. It's just like, it is no boo-hoo that Liv has done this to me. No, Liv was in the right. And so it's the same thing with Becky. Becky's in the right going towards Bailey because Bailey is the one that had damage control, was making Becky Lynch's life a living hell. Now, how Becky goes at it as a heel is totally different, and you know how those things go. But all in all, I think Becky and Bailey will put on a masterclass match. So, yeah. We'll see. I still enjoyed the match. This match, like I said, went on for 25 minutes. Phenomenal. Now, I'm going over to the first disappointing match of night 2, which I thought this match should have been great, but it was just not. And both of these men are going to be future world champions. Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu in a steel cage match. Y'all, this match was disappointing. It was disappointing. I don't even know where to begin with this match. It was just like, you got two heavy hitters that should have been going longer than 12 minutes personally, and we should have been able to elevate more of what Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa can do in that ring. But I don't know if the fact that they chose to do the steel cage match, maybe it should have been a street fight, but I get it. We already had a street fight. We already had a false count. Not a false count, but we already had a no disqualification match, no count outs. So it was just like, how could we give another big stipulation match with them being able to do whatever they want to each other, but, not do the same thing that two of these matches we already had in the card did. And I don't think the steel cage match, I don't think that worked for them. I think the steel cage match probably would have worked better for Lyra and Becky versus Solo and Jacob. I think the biggest part of the match for that match, for the steel cage match with Jacob Fatu and Solo, was Jacob hitting the 2 moonsaults and Solo kicking out of them, because nobody's kicked out of a Jacob Fatu moonsault yet. So I thought that was impressive, and that was like, oh, okay. But outside of that, the match was very lackluster. So I'm just going to go to the next match. This match was also equally okay. It was a callback to like Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle back in the day. AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental title. That went on for like 10 minutes. I'm going to first and foremost say this. It's an apology to Dominic Mysterio, because originally I was not a fan of Dominic Mysterio. I thought he was way too green to be in that ring. I did not mean to make that round. It was just like it was almost like they did not want that man to develop. They wanted him to develop on the fly, and it was just like, why isn't he not going to NXT? Why isn't he not doing these things? And Dom has just gotten better every time he's stepped in that ring. He has just gotten better. I do think the move to Judgment Day helped him so much, because he found a character for himself, and I think the character it works for him, and separates him from his father. Because now you don't, when you think Dominic, you don't think Ray. You think Dom. You think Dirty Dom. So, hats off to Dom. Dom be pulling all the bad ladies, y'all. I don't know what to tell y'all. But yeah, Dom doing what he did in that match was great. I figured Dom was going to walk away with the title. Honestly, I don't see Dom losing the Intercontinental title until somehow they kick Finn Balor out of Judgment Day. Because if anybody's been following it, the leaders of Judgment Day are slowly getting picked off in order. So if you really look at it like this, Edge was kicked out when the moment Finn came in. Finn was supposed to be the leader for Judgment Day, and then they audibled it out, and then it became Damian and Rhea. And then Rhea kind of took over for a brief stint when she was champ. And I'm going to be real with you. I don't think when they transitioned Damian as the leader of Judgment Day, I don't think that was a good idea. I personally do not. I think it should have transitioned back to Finn being the leader once Rhea was, like, gone. But Rhea and Damian were kicked out all at the same time. So it was like, when I say Rhea was gone, it should have been when she was injured. Finn should have transitioned back to the leader of the group. I'm going to harp on Finn Balor real fast. WWE needs to do better by that man. I'm going to say that first and foremost. They need to do better by him. Because that man he got the title, he got injured, and since then, they have not put a world title back on him. That is criminal. My man is in his 40s now, y'all. He can still go. Give that man a world title. I don't really want him with the Intercontinental title, but at least it's like a singles title. But I'm ready to see y'all allow Finn Balor to go. Like, let him be the demon. Let him be Finn Balor. Let him be the prince. Let him literally go. So when he gets this Intercontinental title, let him be a Masterclass Intercontinental Champion. And then let him transition into a world title. Like, honestly, what I think should happen, once CM Punk officially beats Seth for the title, let CM Punk have his little run with it, and then let it be Finn Balor who dethrones CM Punk. I think that match will be great, but you have to allow Finn Balor to be great. So please, WWE, let Finn Balor be great. Now, going back to Dominic, I'm sorry. Anywho, Dom, Matt, improved, most improved. I loved everything he's done so far. Like, his stint with the North American Championship, I thought that was great. I didn't want to see him lose the title. I was like, nah, let him keep that title. I wanted him to hold it for a year and some change. It was just like, but they had to take it off of him. And Dom's just been around. I love when he's the manager for the girls. It's hilarious to me. I'm like, this man is just here. And it works for his character. It just totally works. So, and I do want to see, I can't wait till Liv comes back because I do want to see more of Dom and Liv. Like, if Dom and Liv were to separate themselves from the Judgment Day, I still think it still works for them. Like, we know inevitably one day Dom will go face again. And how that will look, I have no idea. I think Dom is honestly better off as a heel. But yeah, we'll see. Anywho, that match was cool, predictable. I don't give it a failing grade, but at the same time, I was like, it was what I expected it to be. It was a good tribute to Eddie Guerrero, you know. I would say, like, one of the funniest parts of the match was Dom got a chair, slant like Eddie would do, hit the mat, and toss it to AJ, and then he fell out. And then AJ put the chair around his neck, and he fell out. The ref is like, what the hell just happened? They're like, who hit who? So, yeah, I thought that was hilarious. Great tributes. So it was a funny match. Now, to the main event. Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. That was a banger, y'all. It went on for 37 minutes. That was an absolute banger. I know people had their issues. Even I had my issues with the WrestleMania match. And then just learning that and then you actually look at the heel run of what Cena was supposed to be. It makes sense to why the WrestleMania match was the WrestleMania match. So, I look at it with different eyes when I watch that match back. But Cena has gone back face. We knew that was going to happen before. He has 4 months left, sadly. And we knew that was going to happen. I did honestly think Cody was going to go heel. And that didn't happen. So we just got two faces going at it. And it was really good. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I don't know about you guys, but I myself really enjoyed it. I lost count of how many crossroads, how many AAs were done. Whatever they could find, they hit each other with it. I am sad Cena lost. I'm a huge Cena fan. I am really upset Cena lost the match. I really wanted him to retire with that title. I just thought that would have been so cool. Honestly, now, and I'm probably the only one, I am like, Cena for 18. Cena for 18. Let there be no way somebody can pass Cena. Cena for 18. So let Cena retire with one of the titles. They'll be like, yeah, I got 18 world championships. Nobody's going to catch me for a very long time. So yeah, Cena for 18 is what I'm calling. But it was solid. And then we got the return. Brock Lesnar is back. Clearly he must have been, I'm assuming, acquitted of all charges with the whole lawsuit thing. I'm not going to get into that. But the fact that he's back, it means something, And the first thing this man does, like always, on a Summer Slam for John Cena, after John Cena's given his thank y'all, I love y'all. Oh my God. You hear the music, he gets F5, and we're going into a feud with Brock Lesnar. I think Brock Lesnar is a good choice for another feud for Cena, since we're going through all the greatest hits for Cena. I do not think Brock Lesnar is the one that retires Cena. At least he shouldn't be. I think we're going to do the Cody Rhodes run with Brock Lesnar, honestly. I think Brock is going to beat Cena in their first match, and I think the next two, Cena will beat Lesnar, and Cena moves on. I think whoever retires John Cena will either be two people here. One is somebody who already exists within the company and clearly is going to get another world title, and the other was the future of the company. So the first person I think who will retire Cena, and it just fits to his character, is The Rock. I think the final boss will beat John Cena and retire him for good. That's if we get Rock and Cena 3. Now, the next person who I think will retire Cena will be Braun Breaker. I think the torch for Cena has already been passed. It's been passed numerous times, I know, but I think Cena will. I think eventually Cena will get caught up in the Seth Rollins stuff after the feud with Lesnar and wherever and however fast that goes. But I think Cena will get caught into the whole Seth Rollins nonsense, and ultimately Braun Breaker will retire Cena at a Saturday Night Main Event or something. I think that's Cena's last day of Saturday Night Main Event in December. I think so. But yeah, I think Braun Breaker will be the one to finally put it into Cena, unfortunately. I hate to say that. But yeah. So night 2, all in all, I enjoyed night 2 infinitely more than I did 1. It was still good wrestling, all in all. But, it happens. We'll see what the aftermath is tonight on Raw. Will I do a review on Raw? I don't know. I don't think I will. We'll see. Also, it depends how this does when I put it up. This is already going on for damn near 50 minutes. But that's intended to be that. I like to talk about things I like. So, yeah. Next time, y'all.